All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this month's edition of Funding Fridays. I am here flanked with some of the most professional women I've met since moving to Miami 2.5 years ago. My name is Salvatore Buscemi. I'm your host, live from Boca Raton. And we're putting on this show here where it's a It's a Q&A for people who are looking to learn about raising capital, but also maybe talk about the finer details and points on branding and other things. And we're going to be covering a whole suite of topics that we'll be covering. But remember, this is membership supported. So if you have any questions you want to download on the Owwll app, Owwll, the Owwll app, to be able to log in to ask us questions directly on any company or any questions you have as it relates to entrepreneurship. And we appreciate that. And that is the Owwll app, Owwll. I'm going to start here from your left, my left too, looking at the video. And I'd like to go around the table to talk about the illustrious women that we have here in the professionals. I'll start by saying many of you know me already. I run co-managed Brahmin Partners, which is a family office where we make private direct investments into world-class privately held companies and Class A real estate. Been doing this for a while since leaving Goldman Sachs, and had a lot of success recently with some exits, and we really like it. So we see a lot of deal flow that comes over too as well. Starting over here with Sabrina Perez. Sabrina, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I've been in the industry.
Yeah, microphone. So yeah.
I've been in the industry for about six going on 7 years now,
Mhm.
and I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity that the economy is giving us. Actually, it's giving the buyers a leverage. Clearly,
Mhm.
if you're not getting a good deal, you shouldn't be buying. And now with the interest rates coming down slightly because they are, more products are coming out to the market. I see that everything is stabilizing a bit there as well.
Does that mean that actually trades are getting done, or is that, so you're talking about real estate and businesses, right? And
Yes.
operating companies. So with the interest rates coming down, do you think that that's making it more affordable right now for people to be able to maybe make the deals pencil out?
Yes.
Okay. And so trades are clearing, like you're seeing things close, right? You've been closing on some stuff recently, I think.
I closed on a house 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I closed on a commercial deal yesterday, 20 units across the street from here
Okay.
for lease. It's a boutique hotel
Mhm.
on the water. My friends got a great ratio on the rent versus what they're going to. It's a company that I've represented a few times. This is their 80th bulk of units
Oh
that I
my
get them in
gosh.
total,
Yeah.
because I've gotten them 20 here, 5 there, 10 there. I specialize in
Bundling.
finding
Yeah.
finding those bundle deals.
Yeah.
I see normal rentals coming down a little bit, and the amount of the mortgage payments, like if somebody buys, it's kind of, it's still higher than what the normal rent is right now,
Mhm.
but I see it almost going to be matching like it used to, or maybe come down.
Mhm. I like that. No, that's smart. And that's what we're seeing in the industry right now, right? Things are moving. Dr. Olivia Scheller has been a close friend. She is a scientist, but also a fund manager. Could you please delight us into, the things that you're doing with Miami AI Ventures?
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm the founder and CEO of Miami AI Ventures. Now, Miami, of course, we live in Miami, but it doesn't stand for Miami, Florida. It stands for Masters of Innovation, Acceleration, Monetization, and Investments. And what we do is we consult startup companies. I look for disruptive technologies that are out there. As you know, the advent of AI, I started this company about 5 years ago, looking at how it's going to change in the area of health tech, and where we invest. Now, this is a merger between actually looking at biotechnology, evaluating technology, raising capital for biotechnology, but as well as marriage with the area of looking at investments in land. As you know, being in the biotech arena, you need property to be able to store many biologic organs and things like that. So it's very important to look for a space that actually is going to contain many of these organs or DNA and so on. So you need cold storage. What Miami AI Ventures does is we actually look into the future and we look at what technologies are changing and what we're doing today. And we look at trying to invest in those verticals, meaning very important to invest right now in technologies that are disruptive in the health tech arena, as well as marriage to how we're going to get treatments to patients. This also includes drones, how we're going to get a treatment to patients, as well as looking at space out there in the United States and globally to be able to house a lot of this biologic material. So, of course, real estate then becomes a very important vertical for us to look at and invest in.
That is the way of the future, storing body parts. I love it. Last here, but someone who's more experience as it relates to the branding and putting together ventures and working with families and other types of institutions is Virgilia. And I am not going to mess up your last name. Vehohola, I think
it's Virgilia Virjoge.
Yeah, Virjoge. I'm going to get it one of these days. I've known you too long not to do this, and I know that you said, and this is the theme for the show today. Details are.
Exceptional branding is in the details.
Yeah, yes, it's in the details. Details matter. And I remember you were putting together a few reels and shorts on that. Tell us a little bit about more of what you're doing. I know we had a great cab ride or a Lyft ride where we all get in a Lyft Black and come up here and, we're talking. And you were telling us a lot about like the videos and the branding and the importance and things that really people take for granted today. I especially see this in science. You have these like, CEOs that don't have any attention to detail, right? And so it sort of, I think, transcends their fundraising. And, that's a conversation you and I can talk on a podcast with a little bit.
Definitely. But I look at branding as being, in the digital age, the most impactful way to stand out in the competitive market. And when I say details do matter, holistically, when we are looking at the most impactful personal brands, they are generating so many incredible deals just because of the power of their name. And digital platforms gave everyone a mic, gave everyone a voice. Now it matters what we do with this voice. And everything, when we think about branding, I think people are so conditioned to believe that branding is about aesthetics. While aesthetics are certainly fundamental, so it's even more importantly, the value that you bring to your audiences and consumers. How does their life gets better by following you, by interacting with you, by working with you? So we must prioritize and shift. In the digital age, the power has shifted from the brands into the hands of audiences and consumers. And that's why the way we portray ourselves out there is highly important. I would also like to highlight a deal that happened, actually was announced yesterday. Hailey Bieber has launched Rhode, the beauty brand, about 3 years ago. It got acquired yesterday. It was officially stated by $1 billion by e.l.f. What does this tell us? Is it the value of the brand itself? Of course not. The value has a very short lifespan. The personal brand pushed the valuation. Yeah. Is the brand valuable? It's $1 billion? Of course not. But what her personal brand did, along with her husband's brand, they pushed the valuation. So as of yesterday, she is a billionaire. So what does this tell us? Invest in your personal brand. Your personal brand is your greatest asset. Invest wisely.
I like that. I really do like that. Authoring a book, there's certain things that I've learned. And I was actually in LA last week doing an inaugural podcast with my publisher, Andrea Albright. If you're listening, hi, thank you. And one of the things she made me think about, and this is, I give it to her credit, is that she's very into this too as well. And she goes a little deeper as it relates to publishing and becoming an authority and being an author, and so forth. And what she said is that your brand is your promise. I think that's the best way of thinking about it. It used to be about Tesla and Facebook. Now it's about Musk and Zuck, right? So things have changed at that point. And, Sabrina's like selling real estate and says it's, next door to where Elon Musk is going to live. I'm sure it's going to get a premium, right? I mean, it's just simple things like that happen all the time. What are your thoughts on that?
I do believe that social media is our digital business card and our personal brand is the vehicle to become a statement in the world. Be bold, be daring, be unforgettable, be memorable. How do you do that? By being the best version of yourself consistently. Every detail matters. And that's why I say when you get on social media, how does your profile picture look like? What kind of bio do you have? What kind of content strategy do you have? Whom do you follow and who follows you? That's the testimonial. Mm-hmm. Very, very important. So I would really take this seriously and really invest time and money into building a brand of great integrity.
I think that's it. Sabrina, you have something to say about that? You look like you're no,
No.
you're just too busy thinking about your next deal.
No. I'm absorbing.
That's great. All
She's
right,
motivating me.
wonderful. Yes, go ahead. Microphone.
Yes, if I'd like to say something as well, I think Virgilia pointed it out really well. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't understand how important a brand is. I'm speaking to the CEOs that are out there of companies. Many of you are techies. As you know, I'm in the biotech world, and many of you are looking at disruptive technologies in in your area. However, it's very important to have your own brand as well, because you are the CEO of the company. You represent your company. If you don't have your personal brand, how are you going to drive that company, especially to attracting the kind of money and investments that you want? So
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. One of the things that I always notice, especially going back to real estate, but if you look at any real estate deal that has failed, usually what they do is they have a line item for zero set to marketing. And I think a lot of people today who are CEOs, we're in a Shark Tank nation today. Everybody has a side gig. Everybody's raising money, right? But not everybody knows to wear the right clothes to the party. And I'm not saying, that's a euphemism for saying, sometimes people, they don't feel comfortable doing it today. I think social media has made everything much more conspicuous, and people are just sizing you up in 3 seconds. I mean, I get people sending me LinkedIn requests all the time. And if you have any questions, feel free to send a DM too. However, they just don't look like they're ready for prime time. And with the competition out there with everybody and their sister-in-law raising money for something, I think it's causing people to look at themselves a little differently and not really relying on the spreadsheets that they use, right?
Very important. And I think even when we look at people like Elon Musk, for instance, how intentional his brand is. People think he doesn't care how he dresses, or of course he does. When I lived across the street from the Metropolitan Museum of Art for 17 years in New York City, I remember when he started to come to the Met Gala with his mother a couple of years ago. And people thought, why would Elon come to a fashion event? In a way, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was positioning himself to attract a new type of investor, the investor in the fashion world, in a more creative. That's what happened when he acquired X. He already had his imprint in all these industries. And this is what people don't understand. Same with Steve Jobs, the turtleneck, the glasses, all these people that you think they don't care, they intentionally create certain details about their personal brand that become almost like an addiction. We become addicted to the way he speaks, to the way he interacts. That's all intentionally created. Don't let them fool you. I wanted to share this because
good story.
Yeah, that's a very good story. And I'm also reaching out to all those women who are CEOs out there, and I get many calls and many asks to help companies show how to present themselves as a woman. And as a Latina woman, you not only have to look the part, but there's a lot of education that you could actually work on yourself, is how to speak properly, and also learn how to give presentations. I think a lot of CEOs that are just starting out don't realize that is important. Your technology is absolutely the most important, but actually you can have the best technology in the world, but if you cannot speak it and synthesize it in the proper format and sound eloquent and convincing, it's not going to go very far. So the brand is important, but also you need to go back and take some classes, take some presentation classes, learn how to speak properly in different ways. And I know that language barriers affect somewhere, but we could all polish ourselves off in many ways. So, keep on learning.
Yeah, I agree. No, absolutely. There's too many people you can tell, excuse me, who come to a pitch and they're just reading off of the PowerPoint. I've seen that before. And it's really about the story too. Everybody remembers the plot line of their favorite, Star Wars movie, but nobody remembers their, biometrics, right? So, numbers don't sell. They just, I think people today, especially if they're leading with numbers on an investment, they're really putting themselves at a disadvantage, because I think over the past 10 years, there's been patented mistrust in facts and figures today. And we've seen that politics have done that. And, that's sort of, I think, changed the whole disposition of, the way people look at things when people are raising capital today. It's a story, and you gotta have a good story, right? What about you, Sabrina? What kind of story do you have?
What kind of story do I have now?
Yeah, like tell us about like what you've done in the past, like the deals and how you
Well,
work
what I
with them.
did yesterday that I'm
Yes.
still helping them get all 20 keys. And the owner has 4,000 properties, so he barely has really the time to go over meticulous details. I had to go with the contract. It wasn't done digitally. I'm so used to digital contracts.
Oh
I had to
gosh.
go and
Oh
bring it,
boy.
but it was worth it. That this
Yeah.
person has a lot on their plate, and then his employees, there's 20 of them, so they all know different information. They haven't been updated. So it was, my client flew in from Canada, and I had never met this family before, and I've leased them 40 properties in the past. I talk to them every day.
Oh my gosh.
And I finally met them yesterday because they flew down for this, because this is oceanfront furnished and pretty perfect. They're really going to market it the way that it should be at full force, and they're going to make a little more than what it was currently making. That's why they're paying the huge lease that they're paying. With that owner, he has a few other vacancies, and he wants us to work on another 30 like between today and Monday.
Oh my
or else he's
gosh.
not going to say yes.
So
Because
you're
he has to say yes on the sublease. I legalize it. My job
okay.
is to legalize, see who is willing to give my client what they want,
Yeah.
make a list of those properties.
Mhm.
It's reoccurring every week. Then from there, they have an analytics team, but at the end of the day, if the analytics team can't show up to the property, if they don't live locally, like these people can't really be in the Philippines and rely on like a
Yeah.
software,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To give you an estimated amount of income. I don't think you can trust the software. Software is like AirDNA, Price Labs.
Mhm.
Investors use that so they can project what to anticipate on incomes for short-term rentals on Airbnb and VRBO and etc.
Mhm.
And this is without even looking at anything. It was the address that sold them. It's on North Ocean Boulevard.
Oh wow.
They flew,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's so
Location,
exciting.
location.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. Livia, what are some of the, going back to being buttoned down when you're pitching, what are some of the mistakes? Miami has been a hotbed for people raising capital. Speaking of Canadians, there's a lot of Canadian founders who would come down here, and it was really interesting before Silicon Valley Bank, had their issues, and a lot of that entrepreneurship, I think, a lot of that energy has been taken out. And I think Andreessen Horowitz actually pulled out of Miami too at some point. What are your views on the market as it relates to what's going on in Miami, the ecosystem, and the biggest mistakes you think a lot of these founders have been making when they were approaching you?
Right. That's a very good question. I know that, you see the numbers, how Miami is growing rapidly and bringing a lot of CEOs to the area. But, as Miami AI Ventures, what we look at to invest is we do not invest in first-time founders. But first-time founders out there, don't get dismayed. What Miami AI Ventures does, and I know other companies also do, I strongly believe in bubble wrapping yourself. What I mean by that, if you are a first-time CEO, you need a stellar group of people surrounding you to be on your board like a Nobel Prize winner so that people will invest in you. Most people like me will not invest in a first-time founder unless you are bubble wrapped, and bubble wrapped really, really well. So attract really good partnerships is the other area. I think one of the other biggest mistakes is, they don't want to let go, right? They don't want to partner with other people because they think they're losing, their autonomy and they're going to lose their brand. But no, a strategic partnership can bring you so much, not only money, but it can bring you distribution. It can bring you global awareness and so on. So the second problem is definitely find a very, very good partner in order that will help you scale in the future. Also, one of the things that I think when it comes to an investor, the third area is when I look at like a Series A, if we're going to invest in Series A, or if we look at a fund that's going to invest in Series A, what I'd like to see is that you're actually making money, right? Are you bringing in money at that point? If you're not, it makes it a little difficult for us because you have to show proof of concept. The competition in Miami is fierce when it comes to money. As you know, there's an enormous amount of AI startups, and a lot of the companies also that have been out there already have not brought in the money that AI said it was going to. I think a lot of the reason for that is the infrastructure in the United States and other places in the world is not there. So the other area that I think a lot of mistakes are made is that CEOs don't think about their exit strategy, meaning, are you going to sell before you go to market, or you actually want to sell a product by a certain amount of time? And if you're too early and the infrastructure is not there, you're in trouble. So you need a partner that's going to bring that together, meaning be able to sell on the exit. So look at your end game. Very important. Look at your end game, because using the end game in mind will make you more successful. So those are the areas.
We're taking a call right now. Is that producer? Is that correct? Welcome. You are on Funding Fridays live on the Owwll app. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's a great Friday. How are you guys doing?
So far, so good. Thank you. Are you enjoying the show so far?
I am. This is my first time calling in live
Okay.
to this show, but I'm not new to Owwll. Well, I'm fairly new to Owwll since the end of January, but I'm picking up things quick.
No, that's great. That's great. So tell us your name. I can't turn around and see the monitor.
Sure. My name's Adrienne Tickey.
Okay.
I'm a recovery strategist in Delray Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And we run and founded the Lodge at Delray Beach, which is a recovery residence community, in 2008 for people just out of treatment for drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And we started with one house. We quickly grew to 10 houses. We had 72 souls for 10 years.
Wow.
And just recently have downsized the physical side of the business because 80% of the people that graduate treatment actually go home. So it makes more sense to have a virtual program. So we created Recovery Comes Home and Recovery Comes Home Pro for the addiction professionals.
Okay. Very cool. So,
yeah, it's a calling, not a job, for sure.
So what's your question as it relates to that endeavor?
Well, we sold 3 of the properties last year and 1 the year before. And, we're trying to scale this while also investing that money for people that aren't used to investing it. And so everybody's got the right answer, right? Everybody that you ask has a different opinion. And it's hard to know. It's quite a large chunk of change. Right now, we've got it in a CD that's just making 4% just to keep it, somewhere else.
And so you're looking how to manage that? Is that correct?
And how to invest it, how to manage it right.
There's many ways to I answer this by saying, how much does a bag of groceries weigh? And the question is, it depends what's in it, right? I write about this in my 3rd book, Investing Legacy, how the 0.001% invest. And if you find me on the Owwll app, I'll send you a link to it. It is on Amazon, but it talks about that in the the different ways of looking into things that maybe would open your mind. It doesn't really run parallel to what you would see on a type of 60-40, but it has to do a lot more with like private assets and income producing quality real estate. So if you're looking to build like some sort of a legacy or a foundation or something, those are the type of things you want to get into. But you also want to make sure that your co-investors are smarter than you are in these asset classes. So
well, there's no doubt about that. You got no argument from me here, because I know we know how to keep people sober, CEOs, sports figures, politicians, but that doesn't prepare you for what.
Not at all.
No. It doesn't prepare you. I feel like I'm in over my head.
Would Livia, would you have any advice here that you would add?
I would say that at this point, you have an incredible product.
Yeah,
I have to say. And as you were speaking, I'm thinking, wow, this woman really needs some strategic partnerships. And
Yes.
do you also take care of like people who just like, let's say, come out of jail and are looking for a job afterwards? Is that like
That
anything
not,
like that?
not that's not our target market, and that's not the people that have come to
Right.
us, because we are self-pay. We are not insurance covered because we're
Mhm.
not medical. We're just housing.
Mhm.
So, like, if you go have a shoulder surgery and it's an outpatient surgery, they don't pay your mortgage,
Right.
right? It's the
Yeah.
same thing with treatment. When it's outpatient and it's housing, it's not covered by insurance. So we deal mostly with celebrities, politicians, lawyers, doctors, pilots.
Right.
Pilots.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Oh
exactly.
yeah,
Pilots
actually,
is a
one guy.
problem. Yeah. And
That's
that's
the problem. So
and,
doctor is too,
yeah.
and they're taking something to get up and something to go to sleep. All of
Yeah.
them.
There's a lot of nonprofit organizations that I would, definitely partner with. There's probably, because you take in all, right? There's probably some nonprofit organizations that you can co-market with and can help to get the word out and be able to be, a part of your system as well. That's one of the areas that I would think is strategic partnerships. Yeah, until the payers get up.
Yeah,
Because the
no.
payers I think, are the problem right now. We don't
Yeah.
have a clear path to how these are, paid for at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, it would be, you need to get the word out more. And there's a lot of nonprofits, especially, in
Yeah,
this area.
but I mean, and nonprofits is a good partnership, but more so we're bed to bed from treatment centers. So I'm actually speaking 2 times this year at 2 different addiction world conferences,
Excellent.
one in
Very good.
Boston, one in Orlando, and so that's my target market. When I
Yeah.
get in front of them,
Yeah.
I like it. Send me a message. I'll send you a copy of the book, and I wouldn't mind spending some time with you on the Owwll app, perhaps going over this. So that would be great. Sabrina,
I would love that.
what
So
would
I
you
really
add to
would.
this? You're the real estate queen here. So.
Well, no, speaking of, I know, I've heard of a few people that operate this business as well. And yes, that's an excellent business model that she has, by the way, because everybody needs that. But the market for the rehabilitation centers that do not accept insurance, where patients pay out of pocket, that depending on the area that it's in, I ran into a multifamily building near Singer Island, and the building isn't even aesthetically like that pleasing, but they're out of network patients that pay out of pocket. It's everybody pays out of pocket. They just don't work with insurance companies. They cater to like celebrities, families that need rehab.
Well, that's what we do. That's what we've done for the last 17 years.
And they pay close. Well, I don't know if they were just, there was a salesperson there. Maybe he was just. I haven't seen their financials, but they were saying around 30 grand a month for a 1-bedroom in this place it's very close to the beach. The area was pristine, but the place itself was like a 600
Right,
square
but
foot
that's
little. But
we're
they're
not going in that direction. We're going out of the real estate more online, because there's more people that go back home than come to a recovery residence like that.
Oh, okay.
So your
Understood.
ROI is better on the 80% that go home. And to do our virtual program that we've created, a year-long program for professionals, executives, celebrities, politicians, we've had people in our house that had to change their name, people that that you would know by the news story that I told you about. They came to our house. There wasn't any place else to go because we are the best at what we do.
That's amazing.
But
Yeah.
it's hard doing it. It's a lot of moving parts when it isn't virtual. When it's in person, it's constant.
Yeah. I think, as far as if it's a money management question, just find me on the Owwll app, and, I'd love
Okay,
to
I'll
talk to you
find you.
about that. And then, Virginia,
Yeah.
do you have anything to add by any chance?
Yes, I would say I'm just looking at your profile on Owwll, and right there when it says about me, I would create the first tagline. It's something that people have to understand precisely what's the value in it that you offer in order to attract the right strategic partners. The storytelling, the emotional catalyst has to be presented. Even when you came on the
Yes.
call today, instead of saying,
Yes.
hi, I'm doing this, how do you grab that attention? Once you grab people's attention, how do you convert that attention into interest? And once people are interested, they might be going forward to do a strategic partnerships, but you really have to captivate and magnetize their interest first. And I believe, considering the incredible work that you do, if you rewire a little bit the storytelling element, the value, I believe you can go very far. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I would be delighted to share.
Or the Owwll app.
Or the Owwll app. Is even easier.
Yes.
Okay, sounds really good.
I have a question for you as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you also, after you see these people come through, do you have a program that actually stays in touch with people afterwards?
Oh yes, we've got family members that are like family ourselves, and we hold once a month. We have a lodge family group where all the family's members come on, and we help them work through, because this is a family. This is actually a community problem. It
Right.
takes a village
Yeah.
to raise a child.
Because there are a lot of nonprofits, especially people who are psychologists and psychiatrists out there who give of their time, and they're looking for that as well to help people externally. So that could be another way of you getting the word out to those networks of doctors, actually, and that can help.
Perfect. I love that. All right. Thank you so much. We're going to move on. Thank you for that. That was really great. Talking about like some of the idiosyncrasies right now, this is interesting. Addiction is huge, right? I mean, it's a big business today. It's a very, very big business. And it's become, I think, much more mainstream. And, we were talking about today, what's happening with DNA sequencing. Pretty soon, you can edit that out, right? Is that what you were talking about on the way up?
Yes, we were. I love DNA. It's all in your DNA.
It is. It really is. And I think that's going to be, perhaps become the norm rather than the exception. That you're going to have designer children. Is that what they call it? Designer babies. So yeah, I mean, that's incredible right there. It really is. Unfortunately, a lot of celebrities and people who, they fall prey to that stuff, which is, never a good thing. Never a good thing. But the real estate market's a good thing. So we like that, right? We really do. What, Virgilia, bring it back over to you. When you are, you go to a lot of these conferences and, you're putting together like a little book of equipment I can bring to people, bring to places now and everything. Talk about a little bit about like what you're trying to accomplish when you go to these conferences. Obviously, you're sometimes a top biller, sometimes you're just interviewing people. What is it when you're building a personal brand? Back in the day, it used to be seen as being very conceited if somebody's walking around with a selfie stick all the time. Today, even at the gym, they have something that comes out of like a woman's pocketbook, and it just extends like an umbrella, tall as a Christmas tree, and you can take like photos and all of that stuff. What tell us a little bit behind the magic behind the master.
So I would say credibility is being underestimated. Claimed expertise is what takes the cake most of the times. We do have gurus left and right. You can find one person on social media platforms that doesn't claim they're the best or they're number one. The credibility factor is actually the execution of your vision, the ability to have proof of concept. Most people don't have it. And that's why when we think about the content strategy, that's why I say social media is our digital business card. The content strategy is basically the main pillar that will certify your greatness. If you don't have it, it's not what you say you are or who you say you are, it's what Google says about you. You're not Google verified, well, there's a question there. When people come to me to pitch a business or to ask me to find investors, the first thing I ask them, pitch your product. Most people are not able to articulate.
Pitch your product. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Pitch your product. Okay.
Pitch yourself. Within 60 seconds, you should be able to articulate your value proposition. Why would I want to work with you? Why would I even be interested in listening to you? That's mandatory. Then secondly, what's your credibility factor in your field? How many projects, how many years of expertise do you have? Third, have you done your market research? It's astonishing to see how many CEOs or founders don't know their competitors. They don't know, they have not done their research on the product. How can I create, where's the void in the market? Before I create a product or a service, I have to do my research and understand, okay, this is what's happening in the market. How much money has been generated in the prior years within this industry? If there's no money generated within the industry, am I really an innovator or I'm taking a big chance? So we have to know that. We have to know who the competitors are. What is it that they do phenomenally well? Where can I bring my competitive advantage? Third, what's my value proposition? Is it articulated clearly? Is it well defined? A lot of people don't know who they are. They cannot express specifically what their value is.
This reminds me of a story. So Livy and I 2 years ago were at iMerge. Was that it? Yeah,
Emerge.
eMerge. And you introduced me to this older gentleman. And this guy, he could not stop talking. He was going around and around. He's there with his son, and we're listening to him literally for 5 minutes. I'm like, and then he's like, in '82, I'm like, well, hold on, it's 2024. Why don't we bring it up here? And it's amazing that a lot of these guys are just not prepared. I mean, with ChatGPT, it's easy today, right? To put a prompt together is, writing 150 words or less what my value proposition is. This is what I do for a business, but it's never been easier to start a business today.
And also one thing I wanted to share, Sal, moving away from monologue to dialogue. When you present a deck, people get there, they forget there's an audience or there's an investor panel in front of them. You have to really make them part of your story, get them interested, have a conversation with them. Don't just pitch. I think that's because I was in Silicon Valley for quite some time, and that's the main mistake. Go there and make them part of your journey. Make them see the vision. Once you capture their heart and their attention, in the attention economy, the first tagline is incredibly important. When you step in front of them, don't talk about the product. Talk about the human factor that will get them interested. And then you proceed with the value proposition. And I think the emotional factor, the human factor is extremely important, especially in the digital age where we are also disconnected.
Who would you give an example of that does this quite well?
I would say, and I know that everybody talks about him, but Gary Vee is the most underrated, exceptionally intelligent man. Why? Because he dumbed it down.
Yeah.
Only when you read his books, you realize he's exceptional. He sees 10 years ahead. He makes conversation with you. He's a storyteller. He's phenomenally well attuned and understanding the emotional connection, how important it is. You almost feel like he's your brother, he's your friend. Well, he's not. He's here, but he makes you believe. This is the first ability to really entice audiences. And may I say a controversial person as well, who does it phenomenally well?
Why not?
Andrew Tate is the greatest storyteller in the world. If you pay attention how seasoned he is as a speaker, how he drops his voice, how his body language is exceptionally well connected with what he's telling you. He might be hated, but there's nobody that comes close in terms of delivering and pitching his product. That's why his school has so many students. So I had to say it.
Very cool. Very cool. Steve Jobs was the epitome of this, and he probably pioneered a lot of it too. Before then, Silicon Valley was basically full of a bunch of tech nerds, quants, and people. It was a different time when you're investing in technology. Today, as I said before at the beginning of the show, it's no longer about Tesla. It's no longer about, it's no longer about Facebook or Meta. It is about Musk and Zuck today.
May I say something about Steve Jobs? He's a great love. Steve Jobs is the Gianni Versace of technology. He was the very first tech innovator who understood that people love beauty. He even trademarked the boxes of Apple. When you notice, when you open it, it's not it's incentivizing you to look forward to it. It opens very slowly. That's how much of a genius he was in terms of attention to details. That's what separated him from other tech entrepreneurs out there. And Elon Musk does the same. Even when he created the logo for X, for months, he was on X asking us which one.
One moment, Virginia. I agree with you. Welcome to Funding Fridays. No? Maybe?
We have a caller.
It's connecting. All right.
We have a caller coming in.
Do we? Maybe not. Let's see. All right. Well, they're coming in by satellite. Yeah, Steve Jobs is amazing, and if you look at it, people actually save those boxes, and they sell on eBay for like, almost $100 sometimes, like pristine. People pay for that. I don't. My late brother worked at Tiffany's, and people used to collect the Tiffany's bags.
That's right.
And
they're beautiful.
They are, but it's also branding.
Which leads down to, I know a lot of people that are calling in and watching this is that, you startup CEOs. You heard the word storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have a convincing story. You all have a story.
Those are table stakes today when you think
where
about
you are. No one has your story. So if you can take your story and really turn it into something that really grasps other people, you're telling your story. People do remember that story. And what happens is, and you link it to your technology, of how you get there, it will be remembered. So another area that I would say CEOs would do very well is get your story and get it
Yeah,
right.
and those are the table stakes. Well, thank you, Olivia. We have a caller coming in. Hello, how are you? Welcome to Funding Fridays on the Owwll app.
Hey guys, how you doing? So yeah, I'm
Hi,
watching
Tom.
you guys. I came in a little late.
Mhm.
I've been listening briefly. I want to introduce myself. I'm new to the app. I'm Tommy
Welcome.
Parker. I have the celebrity sports stuff, and I'm bringing a lot of the celebrities to the app right now.
Wonderful.
All the Pippi Longstockings and Andy Dicks and everybody else that's coming on. I got a bunch coming in here pretty soon.
Very cool. That's very, very
Yeah.
cool. I'm
Yeah, I
sure
like that.
Jason likes that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jason likes it. You know, he's like,
Jason and I
yeah.
had some great conversations over it.
Oh, that's
I was listening briefly. You were talking about funding, so I wanted to get in there. I actually met somebody through the Owwll app, and recently, and I just got out. That's why I came in late. I had a Zoom meeting with a potential investor in our company, and so she was talking about proof of concept, and I think we set that up together because we did a celebrity boxing match, and we have a celebrity sports entertainment industry. Is what we do.
Oh, great.
So we did a celebrity boxing match. We got another event July 20th coming up. Celebrity flag football in Alma, Arkansas. So yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts. What for somebody like me, who's potentially always looking for investors and fund, investing partners. What are some tips and stuff that I can take from you guys to?
so. Tell me a little bit about your business first. Like, what is it? An app? Is it a service? Is it what?
It's a service. So basically, I throw a bunch of celebrities into a game with me. So I've been in the entertainment industry for 20 years, and my friend who started celebrity boxing over 20 years ago with Vanilla Ice and Todd Bridges, and Danny Bonaducci and Joey
Oh my
Oh
Buttafuoco
my
and
God.
all those guys,
Danny
Lamar Odom, Aaron Carter, Black China. He kind of got me into this game,
Oh wow.
and his brother owns Bare Knuckle Fighting,
Mhm.
and so we did our proof of concept. We did a celebrity boxing match, and we like, oh, we like this. It was our proof of concept that got us our Triller deal. So we have a worldwide distribution deal with Triller, the same platform that Bare Knuckle Fighting's on, and so we did that. So I just basically bring in a bunch of celebrities, and I got various. I own 8 LLCs. The sports, each sport is its own LLC,
Each
and the
support.
next
What does that mean? Each support.
each sport,
Oh,
each
each sport.
sport.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's fine. So, how are you making money now?
So it'll be through ticket sales, sponsors, and merch and things like that.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. Our next event's July 20th. It's a celebrity flag football versus Air Force. We have a 6,000 seat stadium to pack out with $40 a ticket to come see it. Fans get to get autographs from the celebrities, and but we also have a couple nonprofits attached to us as well
That's very
for
cool.
veterans. Yeah.
I think Olivia, do you have something to say, or I was going to hand it over to
I
you.
was gonna
Yeah.
ask, are you looking for funding? What are you looking for
Yeah,
exactly?
it wasn't clear.
Yeah, we're always looking for investing partners or funding or to jump in with us
Yeah.
because we have a 5-year plan with we want to get into sports gambling and create an app with our
Excellent. I
meme
was just
token.
about to go in
Yeah,
that direction
need
because
to.
that's
Yeah.
where it's going. The reason why I was asking you that question is this. You've heard of the city of the future, Lake Nona in Orlando. So I'm one of the first investors in that area with Tavistock, and we have a fund up there run by the Adidas family
Okay.
called the Advantage Fund, who is very much into gaming, anything sports. So
Yeah.
if you need any information about that, feel free to send me a DM on LinkedIn. Be happy to tell you about it. But yeah, very much focused on the sports industry area, sports medicine, gaming, all of that.
Perfect.
Yeah, we have. I think what we're offering is a unique uh, business that we've created. We've kind of innovated the celebrity sports entertainment world, and we're excited. We even won an award for innovative sports through the Better Vision for Children gala event that they had in Los Angeles. They honored us with the Innovators Award, and yeah, that's what we do. We do celebrity sports, and we have 8 different sports that we do. Each sport is its own business, and They all have exit strategies. Our proof of concept is our celebrity boxing that got us our distribution deal. And we have lots of celebrities attached. We got locations. We're pretty much got all the pieces together, but we're always looking for investing partners
So
to jump in.
if someone were to give you a chunk of money, what would you do with that money?
It basically goes into the company for the events, so we can start funding out all of our events. It depends on the size of chunk of money, because if they're investing in one sport, or are they investing into the holdings company. It will fund out the entire event, pay for flights, hotels, airfares, marketing, uh, uh, all the stuff to make these events, successful, so we can just keep casting and putting on good family fun events,
Yeah,
televised.
Seems like you're putting on like a rock concert in each city.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So
So that's your model,
yeah,
right?
it's pretty much like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, rock stars don't really ask for money. They're usually well capitalized. I'm missing something here. So you would be using I'm not sure. So let's just say you want to raise $5 million.
Okay.
What
So
do you do with that? What's the use of funds?
$5 million would basically go into what we do is start building out our app for our sports gambling. Then we want to get into virtual reality, so people with a subscription base, so people can come in and put on the Oculus goggles and watch the sports from us in virtual reality, be really part of the game with our own subscription base. Then we want to get to reality TV shows. So we already got producers that are interested to helping us get this on a network. But basically, the celebrities would live together, train together, and play together. So the plan is put on good events, build a sports betting app.
I mean, that sounds now it's
and
like
reality
it's a reality show now if they're all living together. Virgilia, you're shaking your head. What say you?
So I'm a huge sports fan. One of my favorite personal brands is Michael Jordan. I have interviewed NFL and NBA players for many years. And one of the most exquisite personal brands that truly impacted my career is Alan Houston, the New York Knicks legend. But what I'm looking here, when it says about me, it starts with, do you ever find yourself asking, what does it take to build a... Right there, you have to think about sports. You're about sports, right? That's your business. What about sports entices people? It's the championship mindset. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. Why do people go to sporting events? They could watch it on TV because there's something about the energy in the air. They want to be in the proximity of power. They want to be in the proximity of those athletes who exude that type of energy. So I think I would rewire the concept itself. When you think about, I always say, think big, but execute small. You have this large vision, but now you have to really redesign the storytelling element of it and the value proposition. And once you think about what would entice people to talk about me, to come to my events, investors, why would investors come to you versus other sporting events? You have to find that lead magnet. You have to find that moment when they say, wow, I see the picture, I see the vision. And it starts with the intro. Right there, you need a powerful value proposition that talks about championship mindset. Think about it. When Nike did the big deal with Michael Jordan, it wasn't about the sneakers. It was about winning. You wear those Jordans, you want to win. You think you're Michael Jordan. That's the mindset of sports. This is what perpetuates the value of sports from centuries, from the inception of the world. People look at sports as the element that moves them, motivates them, and makes them want to be in the proximity of these celebrities. Everybody wants to be a celebrity secretly. You got to really, really connect deeper right there. What is it in your events that make people feel like a celebrity themselves? And investors, they want to be a celebrity too. They want to have the biggest deal. They want to have the most successful ventures. So I would start right there from my perspective.
Interesting.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Sabrina, do you have any experience with this?
With this segment, I actually wanted to ask him. So when you're raising capital, for the app that you're trying to create, do you promise, like, maybe a certain, not promise, but do you pitch the incentive on their rate of return or the cap rate on their initial investment? What numbers do you talk with these investors?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah. So like I just we were just on the phone. Before I came in here, I was on the phone with a small investor that wanted to come in possibly at $50,000 and I offered him a 20% return ROI within 60 days.
Well, that's
And
excellent. Why? This
Yeah,
should be
it's like a
everywhere.
fast.
We need to
Yeah,
put flyers
very
everywhere.
cool. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just requested more
Yeah.
time.
No, sure.
I,
That's amazing. I'm just taking notes here right now.
I just
We love it. All right, are we done with him? Is he gone?
How do
Oh,
you
he
go
gone.
about how do you go about promising these returns? How is that generated for them? Am I asking too many questions?
No, he's
Oh,
off.
he's off.
Oh, he's
Oh,
off.
damn
We
it.
lost.
He's off.
He got scared of Sabrina.
off.
All right. How about-
But
No,
that was a
it
good
doesn't-
Thanks for
question.
scaring him off. All right. Well,
Oh.
that's okay.
there you go. Sorry about that.
We
I
gotta-
just tried to request some time last minute.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, so
We're gonna wind this up, but yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
so we try to offer, in this particular celebrity flag football versus Air Force, we tried to offer a quick turnaround ROI for them, and that's kind of what we're doing. But there's chances that people can come in and be investing partners for long term. Is ultimately what we'd like.
Yeah, I think what you have is a model there that needs like a credit facility, like a revolving credit facility. I don't know if you really
Yeah.
need investors. You don't want investors because they're going to be
I
asking
really
you
don't.
questions like, "Can you imagine having Sabrina as an
Exactly.
investor?" Come
You
on.
need
Yeah.
good partners. I agree. I
Yes.
really
Yeah.
need some good
I'm
partners. in
sorry if
order
I
to-
scared you. I was
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah.
I love your model.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
No, I don't get scared. I got thick skin. So don't worry.
I'm like, oh boy.
So-
So
I'm like, I
that's
didn't mean to sound too curious.
That's
I was
just
asking
No,
if he was
no,
looking
no,
for
we're totally good.
investors or are you
Yeah.
looking for partners? He said
Yeah.
investors.
yeah.
So we went
Well,
down that
like
road.
this one, I told them if they want to keep their 50 grand in and take their 20% ROI like that, and they just let their money keep revolving like that, that was another option for them.
I think
Uh,
you should build it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you-
that was one of the offers I've made to
Yeah.
them as well. So I mean, you can structure a business deal in a million different ways. So when people ask, "What do you want to do?" If you did this, I'm like, "Well, it depends on what they want to do." So there's 10 million ways you can structure any kind of business deal,
yeah.
and we're pretty open to a lot of ideas. And but yeah, that was one of a conversation I had right before I came in here was 50,000, 20% ROI within about 60 days.
Yeah,
So-
you need a bank. That's what you
Yeah.
need. You need like some sort of a commercial revolver, and I'm
Yeah.
sure any local bank will help you with that. That's
Okay.
pretty good. Or you can structure it yourself, just with a good attorney saying a bunch of these guys are going to give me $1 million, or structuring it as a loan facility, and they'll do all the servicing and distribution too, which is great. All right, this is great.
Very cool.
I like it.
I just wanted to take part in the Funding Fridays with you guys and just throw out examples of what we're doing
That's
for other
great.
people. So,
Great. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I think this brings up a good question. Just because somebody says they want to bring in investors doesn't necessarily mean they should, right? It's the last thing you want. I think, Shark Tank, for what it's worth, it's, really drawn the animal spirits. Everybody's got a gig, everybody's got a side gig, everybody's hustling to raise money for something. You live in Miami, you see that all the time. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what they're looking for is probably going to answer their prayers. And the last thing they want is a bunch of like $50,000 investors who don't know the business, who are, noisy like Sabrina, asking the hard question. Not really, but it's just much better for you guys to, look at it. It's like, do I really, if I have a business right now that's working and it's modeled after like rock stars or concerts, why wouldn't I want to use the same model there? Bringing investors in is not always the best decision. We have another caller here right now. Welcome to Funding Fridays. Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, this is John Morgan. I'm founder of Connected Consultants and good friend of Al and Jason and the gang.
Good.
Nice
Good.
to see hear from everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great.
We're
thanks.
great. We're hyped up on Celsius.
Oh
kind
gosh.
of cracked out. They say. Go ahead. So yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about your business. What can we do for you?
Well, yeah. So for my business, we do fractional business development and financial services. I actually didn't
Fashionable? Is that what you said?
fractional.
Oh, fractional. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually wasn't calling about my business. I didn't even realize I was calling in funding Fridays. Frankly, I thought it was over and I was calling him directly, but it's all good. No, so I was just curious. I work in the startup space and I'm working with a couple in particular at the moment that are looking for funding and just had, questions about what kind of funding is happening through any of you all or any resources that you might recommend. These folks are in financial services. One of them is works through all the alerts. So let's say you run a TAMP and you're a money manager and you need to know everything that's going on in the ESG space, for instance. You can pull up every single alert that's happening around ESG and pinpoint exactly what you're looking for through this technology. So I'm working with companies like that are looking for funding. I just was curious, any advice you all had, or if you're interested in learning more, and take it from there.
So it's a financial. So you consult on behalf of companies raising capital. Is that correct? Or startups? Is that
A
correct?
few of them, yeah.
Okay.
I do business development as well,
Okay.
but both, yeah.
All right. But for the purposes of this call,
Yes.
what's the profile of one of the companies that you think is the most bankable that you're working with?
Well, I think this one in particular has built a really powerful platform where if you need to know what's going on in any industry, she works in financial services, but it goes outside of that as well, anywhere. And you need to know what's going on and get alerts in any space and any subject matter. She can pull all that together and fine tune it to exactly what you're looking for, so that every single day you get up, you know exactly what's going on, what you need to know, and be able to make great decisions based on that available data. So that would be probably one that I think.
Why do you think?
Right
Why
now.
do you think? I mean, if she were to get an investment, what would she use that money for?
To ramp up sales, to
What does that
continue.
mean? What does that mean? Ramp up sales? Like, is there a
Well,
plan?
to add a salesperson or two. Right now, she's handling a lot of stuff and has a couple of people working part time for her. But her biggest issue is trying to handle running the business as well as being the number one salesperson for the business as well. So the funding would help her expand her sales force and be able to follow up better and reach more people and grow the revenue.
And how long has she been doing this for?
For a few years now.
All right.
Well,
I just think, and to be completely honest with you, it's not really a bankable business because I can set up Chat GPT to do the same thing for me.
Exactly.
Like one of the things I do now at the gym is I'll just basically ask Chat GPT to bullet point a book for me to see if it's worth reading. A lot of books aren't really worth reading, especially the business books. I'm not going to mention any, but I think if she's already working on a shoestring budget, I've worked with sales and commission people. That's usually how it works. And today you can sort of you can do that offshore with Philippines, and there's all sorts of services for the sales. I think your operator is not really well aware of the situations and the things available to that, but also maybe might not understand that could be that business could be ephemeralized really soon. And especially in financial services, everybody's looking for an edge, right? But there's also a lot of noise out there. And I just see Chat GPT and AI just taking that over. What about you guys? Yeah.
Yep. Well, you hit the nail on the head as you were speaking. I was like, everything that you were talking about can be automated. We are now in 2025, 2023, 24, AI came on, right? GPT came really big last year and so on. 2025 is the biggest part of what's happened is agentic AI. What do I mean by that? You can have an agent do everything that you just said to do. So you might, if you don't know how to do it, hire somebody for a short amount of time to do what you need to do, and she will be liberated to do other things, to be able to make the sales that you want. So what companies need today is to automate those things that weigh us down. So get into agentic AI, hire somebody to do that for your company. There's so many companies out there right now doing it and banking on this, because many startup companies, or not even startup companies, existing companies need it now. It will cut your time so much so you can focus on getting the money in the door.
Yeah, I think if I was to twist the business around or reframe it or rewire it, as Virgilia said, I would sell these agents. Financial service. I'm going to make a general. I'm just going to wonder. This person came out of financial services firm working as an equity analyst or a private wealth manager.
No.
Okay.
No, she's got a tremendous background, but in her argument around the AI is that Reguletics is the name of the company, and it can do horizon scanning, which AI is not necessarily going to be able to do. And then she likens the platform to like training a Pandora station, except for alerts. And being able to have it, you know, trained and programmed to bring in alerts that you need that are going to be, you know, timely, that are going to help you make better decisions. So I agree. I mean, everybody talks about AI and how great it is, and there's no doubt about that. But I think there's a distinction here of having it automated and fine-tuned and trained to give you what you need when you need it and make decisions, you know, based on that data.
Yeah, it's not something for me or anyone I would know, to be honest with you. I think it's just, I think
Okay.
I think from an operational standpoint, there could be efficiency there that Libya spoke of, and you know what I spoke of too as well. But yeah,
Okay.
I understand this. This goes back years, like institutional sales research. You know, like back, you know, they would, you know, have these people who would sell, you know, equity research, and you know, now it's begun more to transfer over towards AI. Another thing that runs corollary to this is legal. Like I wouldn't want to go to law school today. I mean, I just, you know, everybody's a lawyer. The prices are coming down. People are getting more overworked. I think they're going to be the new doctors, and they're just going to be managing a bunch of these legal agentic bots. Is that correct terminology? Okay. All right. Well, that's great. Sorry we let the air out of your balloon, but you know.
Yeah, you didn't let the air out of my balloon. No, it's helpful information. I appreciate the
It is.
feedback.
It's a
And,
sort of Sabrina. You have something to say? No.
No.
All right. No hard questions for this guy.
No.
All right. Okay. All right.
yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate your time and the feedback.
Yes.
And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Take care.
Virgilia, what's the problem with service-based businesses today? How come you can't scale them?
Because trust value. We are going on social media platforms. There's a plethora of services and big claims. And then when people pay these services, they realize they don't get their return on investment. There's too much fake expertise out there. And that's why I emphasize, I cannot accentuate enough. Get out there, forget about the personal brand, the content strategy. You are passionate about your services, start a podcast. Educate. You probably heard the term edutainment, which is educational and entertainment. So my mantra is educate, elevate, entertain. And when you have these elements, when you start educating, you build a community around it. When you have a community, investors might come, if you're looking for investors, much faster. But I do believe it's not value oriented for the customers. The customers are left behind. I have this magic idea for these services. What about the audiences and consumers? Do they need it? Is there a need in the market? Who's your competition? How are you going to stand out? And ultimately, what's your wow factor? If you create those services, what separates you from the best? What makes you exceptional? Yeah. You can always stand out in an industry that is already overly populated if you're unique enough. And I think people don't prioritize that.
Oh, I think we have a call coming. Stephanie, are you able to pick it up? Here we go. That's a very good point, and I was hoping you were going to say that. Hello, caller. Welcome to Funding Fridays. No, we're not here yet. Is that we're live? Welcome to Funding Fridays. How are you? My name is Sal. I'm joined by Olivia, Sabrina, and Virginia. What's your name? How are you? Yeah. Go ahead. Oh no.
Hi, I'm Eugene Mandelkorn, and I am a producer writer with made-to-order movies.
I'm sorry, you're going in and out. With a producer of what kind of movies? You might have to schedule another connection with him.
A producer with made-to-order movies, with an international studio without borders or walls.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this for?
And we specialize in a whole new, well, I've been a producer and writer for about 35 years.
Okay. And so what is your question for Funding Fridays?
And we're presently looking for 100 angels to add to our studio before the end of the year.
Why? Yeah, I think you're going to have to call back. I'm sorry about this. It's very difficult.
Because we've invented a new type of funding for films that combines real estate.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't hear him really that well.
Hey, Eugene, this is the founder of Owwll. If you can, take your phone off Bluetooth. We're having a lot of issues hearing from you. You have a very poor connection, and sometimes off of Bluetooth will work a lot better. And stay inside the Owwll app. It will sound a lot better as well. And if it doesn't work, we're
Okay,
going
I'm
to
in,
just ask
just
you
in
to
the
kindly
Owwll
give it a
app
call
now.
back and
I'm
try it
not
again.
listening to it, which is delayed on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, he's listening to it on YouTube, so he's waiting. There's a 5-second delay. If you could talk to us through the app, that would be.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
on the
okay,
app now. I'm
all
not listening
Okay.
on YouTube.
All right, so start over. You're a movie producer, and you're looking to raise you want 100 angels to do what for you as far as investors?
To come into the studio right now. We formed the studio during the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
when nobody was working in the industry, and what we do is we make films that are different than other films. They do more than just entertain. They actually offer possible solutions to the problems we face in the world today. And we have a new way of funding. We call it location funding, or also we call it shoot and flip. And what we do is we have investors invest in the location where we will shoot a film, and they invest in the film at the same time. After we shoot the film, even before it's released, they can sell the property and they can advertise that this film was shot there, and the props and the furnishings can still be on the property, and we can sell it for a profit so that they could make money even before the film is released. So that's what we call shoot and flip. So we're combining real estate and the film entertainment industry.
Okay, so if I were to write you a check, which I'm not, but if I were to write you a check, what would you? Let's say it's $1 million. What would you do with that?
I would put it into a project that you would choose as an angel investor as part of our studio, what project you wanted to put it into, because each one is a separate LLC.
No, I understand
Separate
that. Yeah.
company for
Okay.
each film project.
So
Yeah.
how do you know the films are going to be successful?
Well, that's the whole idea. That's why we have this new ROI where they could possibly get their money back plus a profit even before the film is released. So it doesn't even depend on whether the film makes money. If the movie makes money, it's like icing on the cake. And if they get a credit on the film, that's like the cherry on top.
I've done that type of stuff. I'm going to open it up to Virgilia first and then Livia. So Virgilia's chomping at the bit here. Go ahead.
So just wanted to share what's very instrumental for real estate sales. It's actually staging the properties. It's much more valuable. It's very fast. There are strategic partners that typically furniture companies that stage, a place before being sold. And that's very rapidly executed. All the parties involved are monetizing. Hence, there's great interest in getting involved. Shooting a movie at a location involves a lot. So I do believe that you will have high competition here from the staging companies that are doing staging, marketing, and sales. And the top selling, just to give an example, penthouse in New York City was actually staged by Cheryl Eisen, and that sold within a month. So imagine when you shoot a movie. So you compete heavily here against these companies.
Who is that person again? Who's
Cheryl Eisen.
Can you give us a background on who that is and
Well,
why
she was-
that person's of consequence? Is she like a famous producer?
No. She's staging
Okay.
locations. She
Okay,
helped
okay.
sell the highest price point penthouse in New York City. She was an interior designer who had this brilliant idea to turn interior design into add a marketing component. So what she does, she teams up with real estate developers and she helps sales very quickly. And then the furniture companies, obviously, who are helping to stage, they get their contribution as well. So it's a money-making machine for all the parties involved, and it doesn't entice shooting time, which I think might be something that some investors might want to discuss. It's just
Libya,
my
yeah,
perspective.
yeah, Libya.
I'm interested in your market research. I'm sure you've done some market research and see who the end users are going to be and what your expected ROI is going to be. Can you speak to these points?
Well, right now we have 2 films in worldwide distribution, and we have 2 more to shoot this year. And one of them we've already purchased the property, and we are looking to shoot soon. So those are, examples. This is brand new. We just developed this new type of funding.
Have you when you say worldwide, how are these things being, when you say worldwide distribution, does that mean YouTube, Instagram?
It's on I think right now on 14 different worldwide streaming platforms.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about what I'm asking is your engagement. Have you gotten engagement yet? I mean, is there a market for this? I want to know what your market research has told you and why you're going down this path.
I don't think that we have official market research company working on it, but yes, it's based on the idea that people are not going to movies as much as they used to, and that they usually go to movies to forget about their problems and just be entertained. But we actually
Yeah,
are
I don't.
making.
I
Yeah.
just don't think it's for us. I think in the world today, unless it's like Top Gun, which is the last movie I saw personally, the last, not 86, but in 2022 or 23. It is very difficult today because people don't have the time to sit through a movie. And also, Instagram and social media, especially TikTok, has just changed and rewired our brains so that we all have ADD. And they're teeing up those dopamine hits for us on demand without us even knowing it, right? And it's amazing. Like, I think today, I think it's a very noble idea to put together some films that, maybe touch on the good news or something. But I don't think that is, marketable at this point. You're using the real estate to get in, are you buying it at a low price? Is that and that to entice it, and then people have like some sort of security after that? You still have to pay for the production and everything. And real estate prices, as Sabrina has attested earlier, are it's becoming a buyer's market now, and you're gonna have to pay a premium for that. So I don't know if this is really anything. I think right now, there's many ways to do this, but as far as like a feature, cut length film, I can't remember the last time I sat down with that. I mean, you're also in the podcast generation too, right? You love Joe Rogan. Are you gonna?
I
Right?
love Joe
Okay,
Rogan.
so I mean,
Yes, we all
of course. So that's your competition right there is Joe Rogan. So yeah, I mean, I wish you luck on it. I think if you cut it into something much more digestible, snippets, Instagram Reels, YouTube is what, a minute max today. You're the pro on this, so I think that's a better way to do it, and maybe not worry so much about getting involved in the real estate asset, because real estate is not as liquid as you think it is. That any house you buy or sell is not, unless it's in like Newport Beach, California, or Palm Beach, it's not all that quickly. Is that true, Sabrina?
It all depends on the price bracket it's in. If
Yeah.
it's something that's under 400 grand, I mean, even if it's in Homestead, that's a basic product like that sells quickly. The market's not really 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse in Homestead.
Yeah, but you're not going to film a movie at a 2-bedroom.
No,
3-bedroom,
now
2-bath.
a $1 million house in Miami Shores that was maybe 1.5 last year. I feel like that area because I've actually sold 4 to 5 homes between Miami Shores and El Portal. It's like maybe 15 minutes away from downtown. The prices went so high, and then yes, they did come down a little bit, and like now it's about who needs to sell versus who likes to see if they can sell.
Yeah.
Because a listing is not exciting. It's about okay,
The thrill of the chase.
yeah,
Am I going to get a contract? Am I
yes.
really? Yeah.
Is this really is this going on, or
Yeah.
do you just like to show up, like
Mhm.
show your house?
Yeah, just to tell your neighbors that you got
Yeah.
to bid on it, which you
Yeah.
didn't, which good. Yeah, I've heard it all. We have another caller here. Thank you very much. I mean, today, and I'll get into it in a moment. Okay, 1 second. Positions anymore. They just aren't in the long term, I think. So anyway, new caller here. Welcome to Funding Fridays. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Hey, what's up, you guys? First, I got to say thank you so much for all your energy and hard work. And you guys are the sickest funding crew of all time. And
Thank you.
I was watching a little bit on Instagram and just love your energy. And I'm thankful for what you guys are doing for real.
Very cool.
Super cool. So I'm my name's Ryan. I'm fresh off the pickleball court right now, and call in, give mad support to Owwll. I love what the team, Jason, Ellie, and everybody's doing, and getting you guys involved is super sick. So thanks again.
And we pulled you off the pickleball court for this. That's
Man,
quite
yeah.
flattering.
Listen,
I appreciate that.
Ellie's like, you better call in right now. So I mean, I'm dripping sweat. Now I'm poolside making moves like a boss.
That's the Florida dream, isn't it? That
Man,
is the
listen,
Florida
so I
dream.
am a Florida bro, ultimate Florida bro. I played pickleball for about 17 years.
Oh my gosh. I
Wow.
didn't even know it was around 17 years
Miami,
ago.
I'll play with
Man,
you.
listen,
Yeah,
it's like
Olivia will play with you.
so. My boy Raphael just opened up a club up in North Miami called The Lab. You guys definitely got to go check it out. I think we might be hosting some events there, and we got to mix up Owwll and get you guys
Let
out
us
there.
know. I'd love to come. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a new resurgence
right,
of
that's what's
members
up.
clubs today all over Miami. Everybody's got
Listen,
a
I'm
club.
telling you, it is
Yes.
like it's more. It's you know what it is. It's like I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. I feel like pickleball and social media connects the whole world. So I own a paddle company called Goat Paddle, greatest
Okay.
of all time. And the golden rule of Goat Paddle: you hit a good shot, you got to go bah, flex as hard as you can. So by the end of this call, I'm gonna get you guys all yelling bah.
Have you
But hey,
seen Goat
so
Yoga? Have you seen that? Have you seen
look,
those
I think
videos?
man, it is so sick. So we ran an event. We ran an event at the Super Bowl, and we had a bunch of people come out, NFL guys. This was in Las Vegas. It was like our kickoff party about maybe 2 years ago, and we brought a baby goat to the event. And let me tell you, that's a force. It's an ultimate force multiplier. It's the sickest thing ever. Like people
Cool.
are just taking stuff. But hey, I'm calling in. I probably could talk all day. Pickleball just ties the world. So I got this company, right? Goat Paddle. I'm a new entrepreneur. I like live and breathe it.
What's
Once
the
I found
product? What is it? Tell us.
it's pickleball paddles. So like you guys check out goatpaddle.com, and then social media's Instagram's at goatpaddle. But we make like high performance pickleball paddles. We have like an entertainment line with some licensed products and like anime, like aliens, Bigfoot, stuff like that. And then we have like balls, bags, jewelry. I mean, we're just like for real. Like we live this lifestyle. I mean, it's not like I go to another job and then do this. This is for real. I've probably taught like 40,000 hours of pickleball and just my life.
40,000 hours of
Wow. Oh my
pickleball.
gosh. This is
Listen,
a
brother, and I've been all over the world too. Like, I mean, it's like my jam for real. Like, so
So what are you gonna
I'm
do
like,
with it? I mean,
man.
you're
So that's
having
why I'm
fun?
calling you, bro. Come on, man, put me on. No,
Ah,
we got. I got that.
touche.
I got the. I got the. I got the house strategy in the works. The strategic pillars. I'm learning and just like being like a sponge and everything. We're in over 40 countries right now. So
Excellent.
I guess
wow.
my question to you guys is like for real. I'm just like like going all in on this, right? Like just like killing myself to make this go. And my question would be, what would be your top, like off top? What's the best way to scale and like just keep the momentum and attack the house strategy and just like really nail this thing? I mean, we have tons of momentum, velocity's good.
What about
we're growing.
the sales?
Sales are solid. I mean, like our top line revenue is just over 500K in under 2 years.
Okay.
So I mean, we're pushing. I mean, it's like
You guys have 40 different locations?
oh well, in countries. So like
40 different
the
countries. Okay.
end of last year, we locked down European distribution. Like we're working on an pickleball academy in Rome. So I mean, just I get like I'm just like this like Owwll's so sick, right? I mean, like Jason put it on where you can like connect, and for me, I'm just looking for relationship capital and like I'm just anything to like kind of keep this going. Like pickleball is just booming like
Yeah.
crazy, right? Like
So
I mean,
Livia has
so
something to say here on that.
yeah, that's what's
Livia,
up. All
go
right,
right
cool.
ahead.
So I actually know who you are. Actually, I checked
Oh,
out your
what?
product. Yeah, I play pickleball. I actually
That's
played
so sick.
pickleball with Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf last year.
Oh yeah, I just
Um,
kicked it with them.
yeah, and so I actually know quite a few companies that are doing what you're
Man.
doing. And
Okay, cool.
okay, again, when you have a lot of competition,
Yeah.
Virgilia is going to say brand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got to make yourself better than someone else, and I'll let her
Okay.
give you. But one of the things here is like, you need to partner with people like Steffi Graf and with Andre Agassi and what they're
So
doing.
look, like I'm trying to stir the pot. If you guys have any connections, I want to get
Absolutely.
on Go Paddle.
So here's the
You
other
know?
thing I'm telling you about. There are ecosystems all over the world, right? That
Yeah.
actually utilize these types of people and the competitions that are going on. I'm sure you
Okay.
know about the big competition that's going up in Fort Lauderdale every year for Miami is huge in that area. But you
Yeah,
have
the
to be
Fort.
different than
Yep.
yes, you have to be different than others, right? Your
Okay.
brand has to be different than others. So I know
I
quite
like
a few
it.
friends that have paddles. What's great about yours is the graphics, right?
Oh, thank you.
So
Yeah.
like
that's what's
there's
up.
partners like Disney. There's other people like the young crowd paddle, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
need to
right.
you're the only thing I would say that would get you where you're going is strategic partnerships. If you can get to them,
Yeah.
people,
Okay. That's
right? The
cool.
people that are going to elevate your brand, number one. And number two is those companies that actually are going to help you with that. Like a Coca-Cola, for instance, or like
Like it.
sports drinks or something like that, and have paddles that and
That's
with
so
their,
cool.
I think partnerships is going to be your strongest bet. Yeah.
And that's so sick. So I went to Mike Epps stand-up comedy. We the ones tour up in Tampa, and I broke in backstage and I went into his locker room and I was like, you need this paddle. So like I'm making moves, you know.
Yeah. The other areas that I'm sure you know about, I said it earlier. The city of the future is up in Lake Nona, and every
Oh, sick.
federation has moved there. There's the tennis
Okay.
federation, golf federation. There's every federation, soccer federation up there.
Is that Florida? Lake
Yeah,
Nona?
it's a Lake
Oh,
Nona.
sick.
Yeah, so I'm an initial investor of that ecosystem,
Man, that's
and
cool.
many of the federations are there. So anything along the lines of sports, they don't have a pickle federation.
Yeah.
However, I have a contact for you if you'd like.
Oh,
Actually,
100%.
one of the companies that came through, it's an accelerator, actually has an application that actually, you know
Dang.
how you need a partner
Right.
in tennis? Well, in pickleball,
Oh
you
yeah.
don't need a partner. You just show up at a court, right? They actually have
Right.
an app that they can find where to play or someone to play or a coach. These are the kinds of
Man, that's so
companies you
cool.
need to partner with because
Yeah,
they've
that's
gone
what's up.
global. They've gone global. So you partner with them, your paddles come up with them. So if you
Yeah, and I
need a
feel like
contact
everybody
with
can
them,
really
just
win there, you
contact
know.
me because
So
I
Yes.
love pickleball.
Through the app, through the
man,
Owwll app.
Yep.
Yes, of course.
man, that's so sick. Like I mean, that's the type you're 100% on when you talk about like strategic partnerships, and I'm all about that. And
Virgilia,
vibration,
what do you have to say?
Yes, so I'm on your Instagram right now, and I did
Oh,
some
sick.
research, and I
Uh-oh.
also
Oh
went
no.
to your website.
Oh, sick.
Okay, and this is I'm just saying this with love, right? So the
With
first
Yeah,
love,
right
thing,
on.
with the
the
Romanian accent, with
That's hey,
love.
you're
Romanian
speaking my
accent.
language.
You
Okay,
ready?
Romanian. Oh
Sit
no.
down now.
So the
Oh
first
no.
thing you will need to definitely verify your account. That's highly important. It's going to bring you, give you the credibility factor, and also bring you in front of the right people.
Instagram.
So Instagram needs
Okay.
to be verified. That's the first step. Number
Oh, okay.
two, I'm looking at the type of people you are following. If you're looking for strategic partners, if you want to get all eyes on you, you have to
Right.
ensure you're not following any celebrity, your account. I'm not sure who's managing that. You have to follow the only way to get in front of these strategic partners, celebrities. You have to follow them. You have to interact with them. You have to repost
Okay.
their stories. You
Yeah.
have to build a relationship. Before you expect anyone to come to you or endorse you, you have to really nurture
Add
the
value.
relationship.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
Cool.
that's second. Third, if I go to the Instagram account itself, I don't understand what this is. I just see people playing paddle, right? You have to create the type of content that offers value to people who are actually passionate about paddle, right? And when we think about it, what entices them? If they scroll, we live in the TikTokification of society, meaning that our attention span in the attention economy has been reduced to a second. How are you going to grab them? Just people playing pickleball, it doesn't mean anything to them. You have to have your wow factor. You
So
have to
what's a good what would be a good example you think?
So the way content strategy works, you do reverse engineering. You say, okay, we want to scale. We are currently making $500,000 a year. We want to scale to $1 million a year. That means
Right.
where exactly is the money coming from? Some money, let's say 20%, is coming from social media engagement, from paid ads, from content strategy. Now, if we need to generate an extra $500,000, we have to identify, again, we start with whom we follow.
Here's the best part. We haven't spent $1 on marketing yet.
Okay, so I'm just saying that the content strategy can organically
That's it.
attract the right partners and
I love
followers
it.
if
That's
it's
so cool.
intentionally created. So you say, I need to generate extra $500,000. Where is the money coming from? Okay, I'm going to create a content strategy that attracts whom? Who's my ideal customer persona? Who's my ideal
Got it.
audience persona? And then we
That's
do
great.
reverse engineering and we say, if my ideal customer persona is Steffi Graf, what type of content would be enticing to her? How am I going to grab the attention of this? Then you create a personal brand audit for the ideal customer persona. You identify where they live, what kind of car do they drive, what type of food do they like, what kind of brands do they wear. And based on that, you rewire and you create a content strategy with deliverables. And then you keep testing. After 3 months, we created a content strategy with series. Right now, this is very powerful. Every Wednesday, you have our paddle star product, right? Everything has to be designed intentionally, meaning that we know how much money we need to generate, how much followers do we need to increase to in order to be perceived as a high
Man, that's
level
so
elite.
cool.
So those are all elements that will give you organic reach. Once
It's
you
kind of
grab
like neuro-linguistic programming.
exactly. And
Like,
then once
I
you
like
start
it.
grabbing, but you have to invest time in connecting with the right
Man,
audiences
that's
and
so sick.
consumers.
Yeah.
You know,
Man,
that's
all I hear is the love language talking
Yeah.
right now. Come on, money
it's all with
time.
love. All with love.
I'm jumping up and down poolside.
Livia, Dr. Livia.
Yes, I have one more suggestion for you.
Oh, thank you.
know
That's
we're
what's up.
in the advent of AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you
All-
said you
all
haven't
day.
marketed yet. I
Right.
know personally, because I'm in the sports arena and longevity medicine, many of these platforms have product bases to them. You need to get in there, right? Because I know a lot of other companies who have their paddles there as well are being
Okay.
marketed by these platforms. Now they're getting there before you. You need to get into all the new platforms. So you need to keep an eye on what's happening in the IT world,
All
right?
right. That's cool.
Like, who's marketing sports gear, right? Who's actually marketing a platform of where to play, who's actually doing the marketing of where the events are, where are the big tournaments, who are the best of the best, and partner with them. So
Man, that's what's
the
up.
IT for right now is going to sell your product even more. So they're already selling their product on steroids. So you need to get on that train.
Man, I'm about it for real. Like, and if you want to connect further and talk about the platforms you're on, I mean, listen, I'm all about
Sure.
developing the relationship and making this happen. So
Mhm.
that's it.
Wonderful. All right, that's great.
All right. Hey, I want to thank you for all your energy. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys are super sick. And hey, if you need a go paddle or you guys want to get hooked up, let me know and I'll set that up.
Livia will take one.
I'll
I'm
take one.
fine.
And
I'm
if
All
you're
right, I
ever
gotta
in
hear you guys go,
Miami, let's go
"Ah."
play.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
All
Thank
right.
you for your time. That was great. Perfect.
All right. Hey, for real. All right.
That is
Enjoy the
really
weekend.
cool. Thank you. You too.
All right. Peace
Yeah.
out.
Paddle's big. I mean,
No,
Yes.
pickleball.
pickleball. Okay.
They play with the paddle.
Okay.
There's another sport called padel.
Yes.
It's different.
Yeah. Okay. I'm learning. I learned that I think last night. I said something wrong.
Between padel and pickleball.
What's the difference?
Oh, it's a different game. It's a different ball. It's a different racket, and you actually in padel you play off the back wall too. So it's more like a racquetball mixture.
Okay.
And it's a very big game as well.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, the brandy. That was funny. The tough love. I love it. A lot of these guys, they're
I believe, if you care, you tell the truth. And the problem is a lot of brand and marketing agencies out there are lying to people. And I'm going to say it with a straight face. They promise, oh, we're going to get you followers. And then they go and buy followers.
Yeah.
Engagement, valuable. I would rather have you have 1,000 followers that are intentional and they are real
absolutely.
followers. And I believe, I think everybody wants to live the dream, but not many people are passionate about identifying what does it take to execute the dream. The business model, from the calls we got, I'm surprised and shocked to see there's no business model. And how are you
No.
going to build when the foundation doesn't exist?
The other thing too is that guy probably does he have all the sales? The people who have bought the paddle or the equipment from him. He could be engaging with that list and creating some sort of not affiliate program, but some sort of like a
Membership.
yeah.
I think he has to have a membership.
Yeah.
All these clubs, every pickleball court I see has a membership, right?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Oh, well,
No,
maybe
you-
the recreational ones.
Yeah.
Recreational
just
ones.
show up.
ones?
Yeah, the ones that you just show up.
You just
But
show up.
many have a membership though. It has to be different, like padel on the water. I think Dave Grutman may have been like affiliated with the investor. for that concept. They have a membership, I think, of like $120 a month, where they have a Pura Vida, they have like a happy hour thing. I've
What's a
heard.
Pura Vida? What's that? For
Pura
people?
Vida?
The food.
The
food, the plate. I know.
Wait, that's
I
what
know.
I-
It's
Yeah.
people who are on here who don't understand. It's delicious. I love it.
Yes.
The avocado
And that's
toast is
our
amazing.
office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our office. Yeah, I mean, so what else? What are the accoutrements, or that they would put on here? It would be Pura Vida and then a happy hour.
They have advertised like every so often, like this is what makes them different as to why somebody would. It's not just because it's in Miami on the water, let me pay a membership. They offer amenities and social groups. Like
Yeah.
they have the cold plunge, and they have the cold plunge events on the weekends, I think, with like coffee and chill. That people go and they either buy tickets for those events within the Padel Reserve. It's called the Padel Reserve. And then after, like, inclusive bites from Pura Vida, they have a little shack of Pura Vida. It's awesome. That would entice me if they make it. I haven't, we haven't seen his business exactly, but
He sells paddles. We have to remember he's paddles.
Yeah.
Not anything else. He sells paddles that have different pictures of different, like they're very, how do you say, aesthetically pleasing compared to others that are. I know my paddles. I wish I had it like this table here, different colors and so on. And I'll tell you, the female market is huge, and a
Yeah.
lot of, like, when I go to buy, I'm like, boy, this would be great if it was like really girled out. You know what I mean? And the younger crowd as well. So you have to know your demographics and who's the
But
end
that's why
user.
ideal customer persona.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I
Right.
was
And
just
then
saying.
you can do collaborations, capsule collections with
Exactly.
artists, and you sell them for
Yes.
that collectible.
Right.
Like there's a lot, that goes into the mix. And that's why I say having the business model, knowing exactly how you operate, the revenue streams, and then you do reverse engineering and you say, okay, now we tap into the ideal customer persona. What are our distribution channels? What are our digital channels? Who are the social media influencers that we are going to engage? Who are the celebrities that we are following and interacting with? Like there's a lot. And then the capsule collections, that's the icing on the cake. But I think the misalignment where I do see with a lot of people that call in, there is no system of
No,
execution.
nothing.
Exactly.
they
There's
just
nothing.
Yeah. And I always tell people, they say, what makes you different with your branding strategy? I'm like, because I analyze the business model first. I don't start branding until I understand how the business makes money.
Right.
And then all the pillars should be equally important. Not business is more important than branding, marketing, PR. No, they're equally important. You have to connect the dots. And I think there's a huge disconnect and misalignment here.
And
That's what I, yeah.
And the end product is very important. One of the other things I was going to say is, like, big corporations. Let's just take a big pharmaceutical company, right? They actually have global teams for different things that they
Yeah.
take to different things. There's a market there to partner with a company like that you make personalized, rackets for them, right?
Yes.
Things like that. So if that's in the business plan, then you reverse engineer it. So you were totally right. And what I like about you, Virgilia, is like, how to curate very well by reverse engineering. For me, it's like that word is so important. Like, what is going to make you different than somebody else?
Yeah.
The
And
wow
what are they
factor.
not doing, right? And then you reverse engineer and say, well, what are other people doing that really is going to fill a gap there, right? And then brand it that way, right? Get the word out.
And with ChatGPT, you can find out the avatar very quickly.
You can.
Yeah.
And that's why, but I think people don't do that research. They are not
No.
even aware these tools exist.
Mhm.
And it's very important. You have product knowledge is fundamental. And I think people are sleeping on it. They don't, and to talk about like the attention economy, like right now, when you get like on calls like that, you have to be like fire. You got to spit fire. You got to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like in 10 seconds, Sal has to be like, wow, I want to invest in this. Even if you're not producing yet, but if you're passionate enough, if you know your stuff, if you say, look, Sal, I did my research. There are 10,000 products in my industry. This is what I'm going to make. I'm going to have competitive advantage. Are you interested? Now you already grabbed something. But in order for you to say that, you have to know where the
Yep.
competitors are and where the market is.
Every entrepreneur, a new entrepreneur, always starts with the product first, like
Yep.
this gentleman, right? And
Yep.
that's really it. This has been great. Any final thoughts? We'll start with Sabrina.
Any final thoughts? I think we had a good segment today.
Okay, good.
I
All
think we
right.
had an excellent segment today. I liked everybody that called. I like to hear the different businesses that they had to represent or be a part of, and how that dynamic worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Olivia, what about you?
Yeah, I have to go back with, I'm a very like I love reverse engineering. Like what is your product, and go back to what is your exit strategy? What is the market if the market's X, how much of that percentage are you going to gain at what time?
Yeah.
And then reverse engineer, because your branding, like Virgilia was saying, all these other things, how you scale, all of that changes if you don't know what your end game is there. The other thing I would say is that, for me, very important that if you're raising capital, you need to polish yourself as a CEO. If you're first-time founder, bubble wrap yourself, right? Look at the areas of your weaknesses and don't be afraid to step aside. If you are in IT, right? If you're an engineer, step aside and let the CEO drive the business. You could be the president, but let your baby flourish out there. So, at the end of the day, polish yourself, get yourself, like Virgilia was great. She's important in curating the right brand for what your end strategy is. So I really appreciate everybody who's calling in, and the people who called in really have a lot of, guts really to call up and be in front of us and get ideas. So, tell your friends, tell your family that, get on this platform, because you have the best of the best here, giving you advice.
Yeah, I like that. I think one of the things that I learned, were really, the intent of this was to bring Virgilia up, because a lot of these people don't think about branding, and they ask for money, and then you're expecting me to figure out your brand and your product. I mean, or how you're going to commercialize. It's too late at that point, because you haven't done the market research. You got a great widget, but
exactly,
that's everybody's got a widget today, right? So that's it. Virgilia, we'll leave you with the last and final authoritative word. Thank you very much for coming all the way up here to
First
Boca
of
with us.
all, what a fabulous team. I'm so grateful to learn from all of you today. I would say, if I can leave you with one thing, Google yourself. Google yourself and see if you are proud of what you see on Google. Your photos have to be upscale. Archive, don't delete. Archive everything that doesn't serve its purpose. Ensure that your social media is your digital business card. Are you proud of how you present yourself digitally? And secondly, communication. Communication is a skill that can destroy you or put you in the greatest position of power. Fine tune the way you communicate. Practice with your phone. You don't need a sophisticated mic these days.
No.
You can spend $100 and have a great mic. Gary Vee is using this as well. Practice with the camera. Practice, fine tune, become better, and try to execute your value statement within 30 seconds.
Or ask ChatGPT. That's amazing. Yeah, I that's the world we're in today. You got to pay attention and wear the right clothes to the party. I think that's great. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We're going to wrap it up here. Producer Stephanie, thank you so much. And we look forward to the next one. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.